an elderly gang, or a gang dressed as elderly people wearing rubber masks, although the film never acknowledges these faces as such, having little else to do, hang around parking lots, empty streets at night, under bridges, finding excessive pleasure in meandering about, smashing televisions with sledgehammers, humping trash cans, wheelie bins, lampposts, hedges and walls, as if an arousal warm-up for their eventual heights of chaos, murder. This is Harmony Korine's Trash Humpers, a film which radiates pure filth, sleaze and absurdity for both satiric and transgressive effect, reminiscent of a damned home video to be seen by nobody else other than those who feature in it. Trash Humpers is likely the Harmony Korine film that will test the patience of even the most ardent of Korine's audience, but amongst its tangents of brutality, irritation and dry humour, Trash Humpers is a film magnifying a Fringe Americana which, rather than focusing on the tragic and disastrous, as Korine has previously explored in other films such as Gummo and Julian Donkey Boy, instead examines how people can seek pleasure in unlikely spaces, where no other person dares surge, not unlike Korine's unfinished, scrapped project Fight Harm, where Korine filmed himself agitating passers-by until they fought him, an extreme example of finding pleasure in the unpleasant. With its DIY VHS tape aesthetic, Trash Humpers stylistically seems reminiscent of earlier Jackass episodes. The film's no-budget presentation feels close somewhat to John Waters' earlier films as well, as he and his Dreamlanders shot whatever they found amusing, learning to make films as they went on. Trash Humpers is like a cursed bootleg VHS tape, handed around in underground communities during the 90s, like the infamous Grave Robbing for Morons tape, where the existence of this footage is often mired in mystery over its origins, and uncertainty over its authenticity. Harmony Korine once again depicts a side to America that many might wish they didn't witness. Peter Bradshaw, for his review in The Guardian, wrote about his views on Trash Humpers, which may help in appreciating what this film strives for. It is a continuous 78-minute afflictathon. It sendeth acid rain on the just and the unjust. It is a downpour on those who admire good taste and those who admire bad taste. George Clooney fans will have a fit of the vapours. Old-school John Waters fans will be yearning for a reprise of the Good Morning Baltimore number from Hairspray. It is an exercise in experimental provocation and in pure insolence, while sometimes being horribly funny and fascinating, reviving the spirit of Todd Browning's Freaks and the ice-cold vision of Diane Arbus. Abrasive, irritable, trashy, yet a mixture of intrigue and grotesque humour, Peter Bradshaw suggests that Trash Humpers has similarities to Todd Browning's Freaks and Diane Arbus. A revealing, intimate side to America, representing an often ignored, maybe unimaginable perspective where the elderly resemble a disenfranchised youth, where destruction and libido becomes the source of recreation and escapism. The overall experience is voyeuristic suffering for the viewer. We are not likely to enjoy what we witness, a 78-minute afflictathon as Peter Bradshaw suggested. But we are welcomed into the inner sanctum to admire, gawk at, or become repulsed by this corrosive splendour of dirt. The significant takeaway when watching Trash Humpers is its sheer dedication to depict how people seek pleasure in unlikely, typically unsavoury ways. People hump trash, they play with phallic branches, they bash in the heads of cheap plastic dolls, drinking, dry humping, destruction via firecrackers, hammers, and eventually murder. Trash Humpers amplifies what conservative mindsets might find distasteful via hedonism. The film becomes like a long-running inside joke, aiming to unsettle the underlying prudishness which we may hold dear as viewers. It does this effectively by dismantling our comfort zones as the audience, pelting us with uncomfortably awkward and sometimes ironically funny sights, which contrast with scenes of the downright despicable. By finding exaggerated, absurdist pleasure in these territories, Trash Humpers forces us to recognise the boundary in which we wish to disconnect from these sources of sexual, drunken and comedic pleasures. At what stage do Harmony Korine and his friends take it too far for us to stop feeling comfortable with our own recreational endeavours? beyond challenging the audience's ideas of good and bad taste with hedonistic excess, Trash Humpers also seems to present itself as a form of elderly liberation beyond ageist assumptions. That, if we view these rubber-masked goofballs as elderly people within the world of Trash Humpers, it shows that older people can be just as cruel as anybody else. An improvised monologue from one of the old men driving a car indicates that to commit these crimes and embrace success is freeing, doing exactly what they want to do, embracing destructive joy because they can, as if rejecting a societal assumption that old people can't do what we witness in the film. Trash Humpers is still taking this to extreme exaggerated lengths. Forms of liberation obviously wouldn't typically include murder, but whether intentional or not, Trash Humpers presents a skewering of the assumption that being old makes you incapable, unexpectedly challenging societal ageism. In conclusion, Harmony Korine's Trash Humpers is understandably going to feel like an endurance test for most viewers. Even dedicated fans of Korine's filmmaking may find their patience tested. Trash Humpers plumbs the swamps of sleaze, intending to play an inside joke on the audience based on our discomfort. Depending on your patience for overtly trashy cinema, you may come to appreciate the film's oddball sense of humour, such as the initially annoying shrieking laughter of the camera operator that accompanies almost every scene. Originally exhausting to hear, like nails on sandpaper, but eventually becomes a funnier running gag where laughter in the portrayed circumstances becomes less appropriate. Underneath the constant barrage of irritation and ridiculousness, within the essence of a post-ironic anti-humour, Trash Humpers unashamedly depicts how people on the fringe may seek pleasure in the conventionally unpleasurable, challenging ageist notions of the elderly, skewering conservative ideas of recreation as it delves into the pits of low-budget filth and mire. You might need a shower after watching this one. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporter Gil and my super tier Patreon supporter Constantine Bombelli.